Welcome to Wanna Watch Me Code. My name's Jay, and this series will be about you watching me code. Today, I basically am starting from a fresh slate. I created a new Windows account, and I'm basically at the startup as if you would have had a brand new laptop. What I'm going to be doing today is just walking through the setup process of getting all the development tools necessary to code on my laptop and build and run the code. So before we get started, I actually want to test something and make sure my audio is working. So I'm just going to go to my channel and listen to myself for 1 second. And it sounds like we can hear me. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to download a text editor tool that I find very useful. And that'll be the beginning of the channel. So the tool is called Notepad++, and we're just going to search for it, apparently with Bing, because I'm using the, what's it called, the Windows version of Chrome, basically, Explorer, whatever it's called. So we'll go to Notepad++, find our IDE, and then we'll go to Downloads, download that, and then we'll get ahead to installing it. And it looks like it's downloaded. We'll go ahead. Once we get this downloaded, I'll do a little bit more explaining of what I'm trying to do with this live stream, and give you a little breakdown of the agenda and where we're going today. So we'll run Notepad++, and as you can see, we got the changelog, and then this is already like my 5th time trying to start streaming. So typically what I will be doing is just signing on, starting the stream, and having absolutely no idea of what I'm going to be doing next, and we'll all figure it out together. So we'll just go to the pre-made agenda I previously created. This is the first video, well, first hopefully successful video of Wanna Watch Me Code, and this is the agenda I came up with so far. So number 1, we're getting Notepad++, which we've completed, as you can see. Reason being is we wanted to have something to write out our agenda on, right now at least. Next, to actually get started coding, you don't necessarily need to have this, but you'll want to have an IDE. So this IDE that we will be using is called Visual Studio Code, and what an IDE is it stands for Integrated Development Environment. So it's just basically kind of like a text editor like this. However, it has built-in tooling that makes it a lot easier for you to code and follow good standards like styling and things like that. The package or IDE offers a ton of different plugins you can get that make coding easier and quicker. And it's open source, so that means that it doesn't necessarily mean it's free, but it is free. It has a large community of supporters and plugin creators, and tremendous support as it is backed by Microsoft as well. It's quickly become a great tool for new developers and open source developers, or just anybody who really wants to have a good IDE but doesn't want to spend the amount of money on it that would come with getting a full flagship product IDE fully developed. Some other IDEs you might want to look into are IntelliJ, or if you're doing any sort of Microsoft work like C# or F# or really any language there, and even some non-Microsoft languages, you could use the Visual Studio full-fledged offering like Visual Studio Professional, things like that, and that offers way more fine-tuned experience for working with Microsoft products specifically. There's a lot of cool tooling in there for deploying automatically, generating new projects with a lot of boilerplate code and frameworks that Microsoft offer and things like that. But anyway, not to go down a rabbit hole, we will be just using the free Visual Studio Code so that anybody can follow along simply by just following these steps and getting up and running. Next, we'll create a GitHub account. So GitHub, if you're unfamiliar, is a source code hosting repository service. And it's basically a website that offers you access to what are called Git repositories, which is just a way of saving your code in different versions so that you can go back to any point in time within that code that's committed, what's called committed or saved, and get that state of code like in its version that was last committed to the repository. We can get a little bit more into the value of that and why we're using it. But right now for this episode, we're just going to be getting into how to create that account. Finally, we might create a Gmail account because for any of these services, you typically need an email account to sign up and create an account on those services. So I likely won't be creating a Gmail account. It's been a while, but I believe I already created one for this live stream and channel. So I will just maybe just show you how to use it. One thing I want to point out though is that it is kind of scary to be streaming anything that you're doing on your device, especially when it comes to logging into accounts, setting up permissions, access roles, and auth tokens and things like that, and other secrets. So when you're live streaming, there's potential for me to potentially expose some of these keys, so I'm going to do my best not to do that. If I do happen to expose some of this information accidentally, I would appreciate if you didn't exploit it and take advantage of it and attack me. Granted, I can't stop you from doing that, but I'll do my best to prevent that from happening. If there's anything that I do happen to make a mistake on, expose secrets or information, I'll do my best to, I'll likely try and point it out so that you're aware and you don't make the same mistakes. And we'll show you, if I can, how to mitigate any of those issues and prevent them from becoming larger problems. Okay, so here we are. Got the Notepad++. Now let's go and get Visual Studio Code, our IDE. So we'll go to our browser again. Whatever it's called, Windows Edge, right? Not Explorer. Explorer's old and hopefully not, well, still used, but shouldn't be. But anyway, it's another rant entirely. So we'll get Visual Studio Code. We will just search for it because it's the easiest way to get whatever you need nowadays. Go to the website. This is it. It looks pretty cool. As you can see, there's all these plugins here with this marketplace. Cool stuff. We'll go download. We'll try and go to downloads. Yeah, this is weird. So then you click here, and there it goes. It's downloading. As you can see, I did this several times before in my failed video attempts. And these few I did right after each other because I missed that this popped up, and so I downloaded a bunch of times. No big deal, but it just goes to show you that even if you're a programmer, you're not always good with UX, at least me. And it should open now, hopefully. There we go. Pops up. There's this agreement, and as we all know, nobody ever reads these. So we're just going to accept. Don't really have a choice. We want to use it, and we're at the mercy of Microsoft here. Okay, some settings. We don't need a desktop icon. I don't need these. I don't like these. I prefer to not set as many defaults as possible. We will register your code as an editor for supported file types, and we'll add it to the path so that we can use it in the shell or terminal if we so choose in the future, which we likely may not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And wrapping up. Cool. Now we launch Visual Studio Code. Okay, we got Visual Studio Code, and we're just gonna drop it there. Let's go create our GitHub account. Refresh on the agenda. Okay, so ID is installed. And we got our GitHub account to create next. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to search again. We don't need to go to the direct URL. We're going to github.com and we will sign up. Unless I already have an account, I don't know. So yes, like I mentioned, I did create this account already. One sec, let me think of a password. I'll be right back. Let me get my phone. I don't know where my phone is. I'm just gonna make up a password right now. Um, cool, and we got that. Username. And we'll, cool, it's available. That's nice. Wanna watch me code? There we go. It's the username. If it lets me do it, let's see. Okay. No, we do not want products, updates, and announcements via email. Gotta verify the account. Dude, they make these things so hard now. Sometimes that wasn't too bad. Now I'm gonna do two identical objects. There we go. Create the account. Oh, dude. Alright, let me see if I can pause the video. Let's see. Because I'm definitely not giving you my one-time access code. So, can I pause this? How do I pause this? Alright, I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen for a second, hopefully. Let's see if that that will work. Dude, this is a mess, man. How do I? Oh man. All right. You know, guys, we're gonna just go and we're gonna Google this so you guys can know how to do it at home. Sorry that this is maybe how it's gonna go sometimes. I'm not gonna know everything, and we're gonna figure it out. What's it called? There we go. Pause OBS recording. We don't want recording on streaming. This is terrible, man. This is like just, I don't want to watch a video, man. You can record video, new pause or go into recording. Oh, you can't pause your live stream. Alright, we will take a quick break. I'll be back. It'll be another video probably, but let's see. Maybe I can just like, okay, let me just do this. Whoops. Is it what's this doing? Can you still see it? Let's see. Let's go to Twitch. Yep. Alright. It is still showing my screen. It's no good. Alright, let's remove this. Let's see what that does. There we go. Alright, I think we are not sharing our screen. We'll double check. Looks like it is a black screen. Let's see if you can hear me. Yep, you can hear me. Cool. Alright, let's go. Alright, right now I'm gonna do this in the dark. I'm gonna go to my Gmail. Gonna get this one-time code so you guys can't see it. This is one of the things I was talking about. You don't want to expose your secrets. So I will do that right now. How many team members? Alright, now alright, I'll try and bring up the video again. Now that I entered the code, let me make sure I get out of that real quick so you don't see the code. Yeah, alright, cool. I can't even go to my Gmail because some of the previews of the messages show the codes directly in them. That's pretty terrible. Okay. Back to sharing the video. Let's go window capture, display capture. That's what we want. We should do that. Hopefully, let's see how that works. Okay, cool. And I think we should be good. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. Cool. Let's close that out. And as you can see, we're back and we got we can skip personal. Yeah, no, we'll skip personalizations. That'll be nice. Initializing your dashboard. And what do we got here? We're not going to personalize anything right now, but as you can see, we got our GitHub account. Now, we eventually will be creating a repository. You can import repositories, but this is GitHub, and this is what you'll see when you create a new account. Want to watch me code, signed in, and we'll set the status. We'll set streaming, because that's what we're doing. And we'll clear it. Let's say we'll clear it in an hour, or let's clear it in 4 hours, and then we'll come back and update it when we complete our streaming. Okay, so let's see. We got GitHub account, we have Visual Studio Code, and we got our Gmail, our Notepad++. We did absolutely zero coding today, but we're in a pretty good spot now. I mean, not really even. We just have an ID and a GitHub account. We have none of our programming languages set up or anything like that. But that's the way it goes. So another thing, I guess we can move on. Another tool that I find to be really great that I love that Microsoft added is the terminal that they added. And to show you what I mean, this thing is something that they did a few years ago, I think in maybe 2019, is they made a great terminal that does a ton of cool things and is really a huge upgrade to the terminal or Windows Shell or Bash or whatever you call it, that has existed since the beginning of Microsoft. So this is truly like one of their biggest iterations on their terminal that I've seen throughout the course of Microsoft's existence. So yes, I kind of want to show it off. It's pretty cool. To start off, I'll show you what the existing tooling is like. So there's command prompt, which is typically what I used to use because I didn't know PowerShell. So yeah, so you got your terminal. Can do ls doesn't work. What is it like? Is it lister? I don't know. Whoops. Okay, so this is this one, the command prompt. Actually, you know what? Oh wow, actually this is the terminal. Did they get rid of the original command prompt? Excuse me. Wow, yeah, I can't even show it to you anymore because Windows 11 has fully upgraded to this as their window or their terminal basically. Which makes sense because they made everything look like a Mac anymore, honestly. And this is very similar to, well, it's better than what you get out of the Mac terminal, but anyway, yeah, so yeah, as you can see, it's got tabs. Previously, you would just have one like tiny window with Windows PowerShell. Um, I mean, it's just tabs, but it's still, it was nice when it came out. Then there's, you got your command prompt and PowerShell and Azure Cloud all built in, and like without any sort of, customization or anything from the start. But the coolest thing about this, I think one of the coolest things, is that you can extend it to what are called, or to these Linux distributions, which is Windows subsystem for Linux. So basically, Microsoft created this wrapper on top of Linux that allows you to run Linux code on the I don't know the low level details, but basically on a Linux kernel that runs in the Windows environment. So this came out. I should look it up, but like I want to say like 2015. Let's just give it a 5-year range. 2015 to 2020, it came out with the first version. Then they subsequently came out with the second version. And now you can run Linux commands and code on your Windows laptop. That being said, recently I've had tons of issues with it. Mainly probably my fault somewhat, but um, yeah, it got really messed up, and there's some wonky things with like working with files on your Linux subsystem versus the files on your Windows like partitions and drives. There's a little bit of weird stuff, which makes sense because there's things like the delimitation of files, like new line in Windows, for example, is like \n return carriage, whereas Linux is just like the new line \n. But anyway, I'm getting highly distracted here. Let's get back on track. Terminal is already installed, which is a bummer because I can't show you why it's so much better than the old versions. So we got that. But yeah, so like we got all this. We're good. We got some tools. But how like are we gonna write any code today? And the answer is hopefully. But before we can do that, we need to install some programming languages. And I am I've been working in industry for about what like since 2017 I graduated. So it's 2023. So that would be 6 years. Almost exactly 6 years actually, because I graduated right around this time then. But anyway, during that time, and even before that, I had some jobs throughout school where I was programming. But throughout that time, I started mainly with Java, a tiny bit of Python for my classes, some JavaScript, HTML for one of my co-ops. And then I graduated to a lot of C Sharp, Microsoft C Sharp language, and worked on that for a bit. Got pretty good with it. And then as I was working at my first job, I got really into side hobbies of programming. So I'd come up with a project idea, continue to just work on it in my free time. And for that use case and my personal programming, I use Node.js. I just really like the language. It's really flexible. There's some really cool things you can do with it. And I combine it with TypeScript as well. So in my early days, before TypeScript existed, I wrote some pretty sloppy code, and I think a majority of us have, if not every single person. It's just really easy to do with plain vanilla JavaScript. But TypeScript helps alleviate some of that if you use it properly. So it offers compile time strong typing or typing. I don't know about strong typing. It yeah, and it takes JavaScript, which is for object oriented. Honestly, in my opinion, pretty hard to write. You have to write a lot of weird like what are they called? I forget. But anyway, Node.js and TypeScript. That's what we're going to be working with, at least in the beginning for our projects, just because I've gotten so good with it. But we likely in the future might go down the road of exploring some other programming languages. And maybe some programming languages I don't know, and we can learn them together. But anyway, so getting off the tangent, we are going to install Node.js and TypeScript. Now let's go and get that done. Actually, this brings us to a good point. So, and backtracking to what I was saying about the Windows subsystem for Linux. So, on Windows now, like I mentioned, you can have Linux running, and we need to make the decision whether we want to be operating in a Windows environment or a Linux environment, because when you install the because there can be issues between cross-platform. Things, might work on one system but not another. As we all know, that happens a lot where, one person's developing, it works there, they move it to another computer, another environment, and it doesn't work. So we're going to pick and choose and be, at least up front, working on either Windows or Linux. And we might flip-flop between them, honestly, because I'm a fan of Linux. But also, this is a Windows laptop, and I've had a lot of issues with the Linux development on it. So for that, we'll stick with Windows. Okay. All right. So let's do that. Let's go. What we'll do is so let me just explain a little more. So Node is the language that we're going to install. npm is the package manager. We'll get a little bit more into what a package manager actually does in a bit. And then there's this tool called MVM, which is a Node version manager. So what we could do is we could go directly to the Node.js website and download the specific version of the language that we want. It is a scripting language, so you'll download it and it'll execute your JavaScript script files we'll compile it because we're using TypeScript, but you don't have to. Anyway, so Node.js will execute that. npm is the package manager. So if you're not familiar, software nowadays can be deployed and shared through what are called packages. And packages are just small, there's another library or like set of programming method. I'm trying to explain this in a non-programmer way, but like basically you can take this package somebody else created, it offers some functionality, and then you can use that without understanding how it works under the hood. So as an example, someone could offer an API that allows you to call your mom. And so that API would do some stuff under the hood to like send them, like call the mom, pipe through some audio, do all sorts of stuff. As the package consumer who's using that library, you could potentially only have to do like, all right, phone package dot call and then pass in mom, and then it'll set up the call and run it. So it's really a nice way of like abstracting away the logic you want to execute and the functionality you need away from where you're using it, so that it can be independently managed by another team or person or whatever, and you can focus on just the business logic or the functionality you want to provide to the users of your application. It really saves a lot of work, a lot of code duplication, and makes things way faster to develop. Now, that being said, this is you watching me to code, so I do like to go into like some low-level things, some ideas that have already been explored and are already offered as packages, so they might not be necessary for me to create, but I like exploring how I would create these things and how they would work, just as like, because it's my hobby and it's what I like to do. Okay, so we're gonna, instead of downloading the Node.js package directly, we're gonna go with MVM, and MVM is gonna be our version manager, and it'll allow us to download the versions of Node and NPM that we need. So let's go and download MVM. Okay, it's on GitHub. That should be fine. They probably have README where we can figure out how to install it. Okay. So, I mean, this is how it works. You just use MVM use and it'll set up your node version. And you can switch between versions, and it's a great tool. So it'll allow you to quickly switch between node versions to test support of your code on the different versions of the of Node. But anyway, let's see how we install. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let's close that out. OSX, git install now. Manual install no, don't want that. Manual upgrade. NVM Windows, let's see, let's go. Wait, what did that say? That said important notes if you're running some. NVM also support Windows and. Alright, you know what? It looks like NVM doesn't even work on Windows, so we're gonna change what we're doing. We're gonna do Windows subsystem for Linux for development. And you know what? That means that we're gonna actually have to set up Windows subsystem for Linux, which pushes us down for Node.js. But once we do this, it will be easier because I know how to use Linux. I hope. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna go to the store because you can actually get your Linux distros directly from the Windows App Store, which is pretty cool. It used to be that this store was, I didn't like it, yeah. Ubuntu, we will get, whoops, that's not how you spell Ubuntu. Okay, but which version of Ubuntu do we use? Let's see, let's get install complete. Let's see about it, let's see what it does. 5 years of security patches. Alright, we'll just get Ubuntu, no version name. 4.3. Actually, let's look at the ratings. We can get multiple ones, so it's not a big deal, but that one is 4.4. 4.0. Alright, so I think they're all private. Alright, they're alright. Let's go. And it is it installed now? Let's see. Yes, open it. And as you can see, some cool stuff. Ready? It pops up. Wait, what is this? WSL requires to update it. Okay. Let's try it again. I'm sure it's gonna happen again. Okay. Maybe. Oh, jeez, this is a mess, guys. Oh, you know what? I probably have to. You have to like enable it. I think it's like developer options. No, settings. Developer mode. You have to be a developer to install apps from any source. That's kind of funny. Terminal at Windows decide remote desktop. So there should be like advanced settings, right? Terminal, PowerShell. Oh, terminal. Let's see, PowerShell. Okay. Let me just go QWSL. Ah, man. Alright. Let's just Google the message. or Bing, I guess. I don't have Google. All right, for more information, let's go. Step 4, download the Linux kernel update package. Okay, we'll do that. Where did it go? What did I do? There's downloads. Let's see. There we go. Next. This is Microsoft. Okay. Yeah, always check your URLs, guys. I mean, it shouldn't hopefully redirect me anywhere malicious from a Windows Store download for a pretty sure Microsoft supported package, but you never know. Always, I mean, I'm not doing it very well right now. Try and read what you're doing so that you don't accidentally install some malware, things like that. Looking for this, there's a store, okay. And this is, okay. Canonical group. So this is actually released by Ubuntu. So it should be safe, but you never know. You never know. I mean, it's safe, guys. Alright, let's see how long this takes. Okay, it's taking a bit. I don't know what's gonna happen with this. I might have to restart, but we'll see. Ooh. But yeah, anyway, so I guess what is this channel actually gonna do is probably what everyone's thinking. You know, I have some ideas for what I'm gonna do, but nothing concrete. So let's get into that. Let's just brainstorm what we can actually do with this channel. So we can do projects. I'm just like, let's make this a MD file. We'll make this whole thing like a living document, and we'll keep extending it, and I'll keep it in a README somewhere so we can find it. Okay. This will be 1. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna do projects. We'll do some design too, probably. Maybe some UML, some infrastructure diagrams. We'll talk about security. I am an internal security certifier at my job. Not like super critical, but I know a good amount of vulnerabilities. I know how to secure a system and ensure that your data is protected from unauthorized access, encrypted at rest and in transit, and basically just putting in controls in place to make sure your software application is not, well, I mean, you're always vulnerable to something. I mean, not a good thing to say, but there's always new risks coming out and things like that, but I'll try and walk through some of the more common ones that you should look out for. Maybe we'll go through the OWASP top 10 at some point. Show you some exploits there and how to prevent them. I'll show you just like exploits, some that I come up with, and some that are well known and exploit the OWASP top 10. Fun stuff. Projects. We'll come up with some projects. Oops. I'm going nuts here with this. Oops. Okay. Okay. And as far as projects, I have some ideas. Oops. All my buttons are going nuts here. So one project, we could make the website for this channel. to, actually two for project, it won't be a project, we'll just do the dangers of open source packages. Because I don't think a lot of people think about this as much, and they really should be. And with recent, there's been some recent headlines about some open source packages being, well, that are previously well known and trusted and used heavily in a lot of applications, have been turned malicious with new versions of that package that are released. I'll go into how some of these packages can be exploited and become dangerous if you're not careful. And then along with that, we should probably look into how to detect malware in open source packages. And I actually do not know, so we'll be exploring that. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. We got some ideas of where to go from here. Yeah, let's see how that download is coming along. And it is not doing anything. Okay, is there, oh geez. Oh wow, that's why. Yeah, this will be quick. I just had to, whoops. There we go. Wow, okay, we wasted all that time, guys. We didn't need to, but we did, and we learned. Let's go. Where are we going? What were we even doing? Okay. Cool, so that didn't work, and we'll try and rerun it because we ran that other thing that should fix it. Installing, cool. Alright guys, we're getting somewhere. Not very far, but somewhere, sometime, some way. Oh, okay, cool username. Wanna watch me code. Pass, I hope it doesn't, okay, it doesn't show, cool. Cool, and we're installed. Let's see what we got. Run as administrator, the user root, use sudo. Okay, got it. Man sudo root for details. Cool, so we have our Linux Windows subsystem for Linux installed with Ubuntu. Cool. That's awesome. So now what? We got that done. Done with Ubuntu. Okay. Now we can actually install our npm package, and this should be really easy with Linux. So let's just see what we basically should just have to run one command, and it should be good to go, but we'll double check. Let's see, installing and updating. See, look, we just copy these scripts. Be careful when you copy scripts that you're running in the shell or terminal or whatever you want to call it. And we'll just, let's just read this real quick. So we download, it looks like curl, and then we got to, okay, so yeah, so we just run this. Okay, where is it? This is, okay, we're good, curl. Now it is, it's downloading, is it installing too? Yeah, it's installing. So what's going on here is we're using curl, which is a client for making web requests. We're passing it the path or the URL to the install script for npm, which is hosted on GitHub for free likely. And then we're doing what's called piping that output into the bash command. So basically whatever the response of this is going to be the input, as if you said bash and then space entered that command. So yeah, but you have to be careful here, and definitely try not to run as sudo, especially if you're unfamiliar with where it's coming from. probably never run sudo, unless maybe you're the author, it's a trusted source. But anyway, this will run whatever remote script is being returned from this URL. With sudo not running, it's a little more safe because it doesn't have access to the system commands, or at least a subset of the most, what I say, dangerous ones, or the ones that can have negative impact on your system. But again, stay safe out there. So it ran, and it is downloaded or installed. Okay, so we see it exported NVM to the home directory. There's a shell that runs it, and then okay, so yeah, so this basically right here will export these basically directories to, I believe, to your path, like the path. I don't even know what the path applies to, but it basically has a lookup of like commonly used directories and allows you to basically run the commands on them from that directory, from my understanding. But anyway, we'll run this, and what this will do is add it to our path. I believe, or yes, and so that way we can then go ahead and run nvm-v, get the version of nvm, because it's added it so that we're able to do that. Without running that, it looks like it's added to your profile, like your bash profile or whatever. So the next time you sign in, it'll execute that on startup, and it'll add it to the path, and it'll be available to use just as we just used it. Okay, so we got NVM installed, and let's see, we got NVM, got WSL, and we do not have Node yet, right? So let's do node v. We don't have Node. And what Node version do we want to use? Let's see what Node versions there are. Let's do this. Let's see. Long-term support. So 18.6 looks like it's the most recent version with long-term support. Date is 2023 4/12. Is that when it was released? When is it supported till? Cool, looks like it just came out. So let's just go ahead and use 18. So we'll do nvm use. We might have to do install, but yeah, let's try this first. Nvm use 18. See, it's not installed, so we'll do nvm install 18. Cool. Now it looks like 18 is installed. Now, looks like it's set as our default too, so I'm wondering if we can actually run node. Yeah, node v returns the version of 18, which is expected. That's pretty cool, guys. Cool. So let's go back. Let's see. Got it. So we have node installed. Let's see if we have npm installed. And we do. Cool. And then let's just since we didn't write any code, let's just write some code. Let's one sec. Let's do another step. Let's create our repo directory. Oops. Dang. Sorry guys. I'm a clicky person. Create repo. Local repo directory. Okay. Alright. Let's go here. So yeah, so let's create the repository directory. So we'll make their, is that even it? I'm blanking. Alright, make their repos. And we'll check, and we'll check the repos. We'll check the directory, nothing in there. And then what are we gonna do? Let's do, let's make our first package, okay? Let's go, So that's done. That was really easy, right? Now let's create our first repository. And this is going to be on GitHub, right? So as I briefly explained before, and what I'll get into the importance of is your Git repository. So maybe it'll be easier if I just show you how to create it and then explain along the way what it does. So we'll go and we'll create our new repository. Um, how are we gonna do this? How do we name this? Do we do camel casing? We'll do well, it doesn't matter. We'll do my first episode. And then we'll go the repository for the first episode code. We'll make it public. We won't add any of this right now. So reason being is that it will basically initialize the repository, put these files in, and then they'll be there. The issue is that we're going to create the repository locally first and then push it here so that we can have that be the initial commit, basically. Otherwise, what would happen is if we created this with the readme file and the ignore file and all of that, then you know what, screw it. We're gonna create everything. That's fine. We're gonna do it the other way. We're gonna create it here first, then we're gonna clone it locally, and then we will then work on the project. So the license, we'll do open source. We'll do I think let me see. Wait, where? MIT license. I think that's the most permissive. Pretty sure it just means you can do whatever you want with absolutely no attribution. Which now I think about it, I don't know if let's learn about the licenses, guys. Choosing the right license. Yeah, screw it. We'll just do MIT. I think that's the most permissive. I'm showing you all the code anyway right now. I don't know. I don't guarantee that everything will be this license. I don't guarantee everything will be open source. I might give you some previews to some of my personal code that are unlicensed that I don't know what I'm going to be doing with. But we'll create it. Oh no, I didn't add a gitignore. Oh man. Alright, that's a bummer. Definitely wanted to add a gitignore template. Let's just, whatever. We'll figure it out. Dang, that's a bummer. I wonder if you can add it out. We're gonna restart. We're just gonna delete this and restart. Do it the right way the second time. How do I even delete it? You know what? Never mind. Let's just move on. Okay, so we got a repository here. Now we're gonna go down. We're gonna copy the clone URL, and what we're gonna do, and it's not. Oh, actually, it might work since it's. Okay, yeah, it might work. So let's git clone. I don't even know if git's installed. I think it should be with Linux by default. And then we're gonna paste in our URL. There we go. Sick, it worked. All right, cool. So typically, if you have a private repository, then you'll have to actually set up your OAuth credentials. To be able to pull that repository down, you'll have to authenticate with GitHub, and then it'll give you access to pull that code. Now, yeah, I'll get into some of the pain points with that, and why I was afraid to use WSL for this project at a later point in time, if we have to create those credentials. But right now we don't. So now that we have our repository pulled down, we can then go and see that we got our local Git repository. We're on origin main, and let's get started. So we're gonna initialize our node or npm package, or like basically it started with a Node.js application. So we'll do npm init. what this will do is walk you through a little CLI to generate what's called a package.json. Yeah, and that'll basically be the definition of your application. I don't know if that's a good term, but whatever. We're moving on. I like to start with not 1.0 because, you know, it's not like I'm going to be progressively working on it and it's not going to be in a version 1.0 ready state. And so basically I don't want to have 1.0 and then 1.01 just like break the contract to our client or to our users such that they're using 1.0 and 1.01 they need to rewrite all their code. So I prefer to have a pre 1.0 version so that I can introduce breaking changes as I'm learning more about the system and the and how I want to kind of architect it. And that's not necessary, typically necessary if you spend a lot of time up front designing the system and coming up with the actual architecture and systems diagrams for it and defining the API contracts and things like that. But that's not what this channel is about. This channel is about writing code off the top of your head without any planning or anything like that for the most part and just getting something working really quickly. So let's go. For first episode of Wanna Watch Me Code. Cool. Alright, so this right here is, well, it's obviously says entry point, but that'll be where your package will basically be the entry point to your application. So since we're going to be doing Typescript, instead of having the index file at the root of the project or in the source folder that we're going to be using, we're actually going to write TypeScript in the source folder and we're going to compile it to the dist folder, and that's where the JavaScript that our package is going to execute lives. So we'll give dist as the path to the index file or the entry point. And let's just, instead of index, let's do app.js because well, I don't know what it'll be yet. I haven't planned it. But we'll do dist app.js. We can change it at any later point. We'll leave test command gone for now. I guess we have the repository, so we can have the repository link here now, which is nice. I guess that's a good point of creating the repository first. Keywords, we'll just do, this isn't important, but we'll do wanna watch me code. Episode 1, and then we'll do no idea what this will do, and then we'll do wanna, or we'll just do wanna watch me code. And then the license, as we know, is MIT, right? But is it MIT? Like, how do you, what's the proper format? License keyword, MIT. Is it the license keyword? Yeah, MIT, let's go. Okay, and what did this say? Okay, it looks good. Alright, so now, as you can see, we have what is called our package.json. And we're going to use Vim to look at it. If you don't know what Vim is, it's just a text editor for the terminal. Let's see, we have the name of the package, the script, we have everything we did. Test script's empty because we didn't define it. Got a repository, keywords, author, license, bugs. Cool, I didn't ever see this before. I guess if you provide a repository URL, it looks like it actually generates the issues URL. And then the home page, cool, and the home page links to your README. That's awesome. Good to know. I'll do that in the future. I'll create the repos first. I typically don't do that. Okay, so now what? We got everything here. Um, and yeah. I would. Yeah, we're just gonna do this now. So we're gonna make the directories for source. We're gonna make the directories for dist, and then we are going to move on over to Visual Studio Code. Let's go. Where is, what am I doing? We need Notepad++ to keep track of what we're doing. 10. So we initialize the Nodejs package. Oops. And now we will initialize Node.js. Okay. Right. And now we're going to write code. Cool. And then, yeah, let's do it. Where are you, Visual Studio Code? All right, cool. Now let's open up our folder. We're gonna go. All right. We're gonna find it, and then we're gonna create a shortcut to it. It's gonna be great. Home. Okay. Let's go to. Okay. Boost searches. This is unbelievable. Why? I hate this. Why is? Oh, you know what? Alright, so, dang it. Alright, let's go. Alright, the issue is that we're not actually on the Windows partition, so we gotta get to the, alright, already watched this. What we're gonna do here, we're gonna figure out where we're at. So here we go. We're at home, wanna watch me code, repo is my first episode. But the problem is that this is on what home? Where is? Close that. No. Jeez. Windows. Windows. There you go. Okay. See, so this is what we gotta do. We gotta go here. This is like one of the negative things about using WSL. Mainly just because I'm not as familiar with it. Unfortunately, dude. Does it go? No, it doesn't go. Let's see. Okay, let's go. There we go. Cool. Cool stuff, guys. Alright. Now we're in WSL. We're going to go and we're going to find our home. And get to our repos. And then we're going to go. Open. Alright, can I just let's go here. Let's just copy this path and see if we can just go in Visual Studio Code and open it. Cool. There we go. Got the folder, my first episode. Yes, I would like to allow this. They got a lot of security stuff on now that I've never seen before like this. I have to trust folders now to edit. I guess it's a good thing for a lot of people, but it's just sometimes sometimes can be really annoying. Like, I don't know what happens if you say no the first time, if you try and open it again. Like, I don't know if it, like, doesn't allow you, or if it prompts you again. But anyway, let's go. Okay, so we got our package, we got our license. We're going to add a gitignore at some point, but right now, let's just write code. Okay, so we'll do app.js. Typically, you write a lot of index.js. Oh, there's a lot of ducks wobbling around on the dock. Dude, that's sick. All right, so we'll do app.js, and you know, I don't know, like we'll do something fun. We'll do a little hello world, which is super simple. All you got to do, call console.log, and then you pass in your text. And now you can, you know what we'll do? Well, this is JavaScript right here. What we'll do is we'll show you how to run JavaScript. Let's just go change this to source, and then cool, we got it. And then we can give a little command, so these scripts can run, and you can write your own scripts. So we'll write a little run script, or we'll do app. So it'll make sense why we're naming it app, but we'll just do node source, or we'll do source app.js. Cool. Now we got our app command, and let's run it. Hopefully this works. It should work. I'm like pretty confident, but you know, whatever. So npm run app. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. And hello world is our output. Phenomenal. I wrote some code that works the first try. Pretty unbelievable, guys. That doesn't usually, I mean, it happens a lot, but like in the beginning when you're learning, like you run commands a million times, it works 1 out of 100 times, and you don't really have a good debugging process, and you're just getting started, and it's really a great place to start. Just, you know, writing a little bit of code, running it, getting it working. Write a bunch of console.log so you know where you're at. In the beginning it works, but I'll show you some better ways of kind of methodically working through your code, fixing bugs and things like that. So yeah, that's our code. We wrote our first line of code and ran it. Now, you know, let's go on though. Let's make this TypeScript based. So what we're gonna do is, instead of having app.js, we'll have app.ts. And now that won't run. Actually, will it run? It might run. Let's see. It doesn't really matter if it runs. Let's just curious. It should run. It is valid JavaScript. Let's see. What's it say? Oh, wait, what? It didn't save? Why is it? Oh, I didn't change. Okay, I changed the wrong thing. I just changed back. So that actually doesn't do anything for running purposes. Cool. So file name doesn't matter. Another thing is so yeah, as we just proved, TypeScript files, JavaScript is actually valid. It'll maybe make the type checker complain, but it will run and compile if you give it some overrides, if it's not, if it's breaking TypeScript's rules, but you can basically get it working. Okay, so now let's make this TypeScript based. I'm gonna go off the top of my head. I didn't prepare any of this, so we'll see what happens. All right, so we're gonna install TypeScript. That'll be I think it's TypeScript or TSC, and then we're gonna save it as a dev dependency because we don't actually need this at runtime. It only runs when we compile, and then compiles to JavaScript, and then Node just reads that vanilla JavaScript and executes it. So no need to have it in our runtime dependencies. But we do want to save it so that the next time we run npm install, it'll be installed and be able to be used. Cool, so that's installed now. Let me see. TSC. Yeah, okay. So, what we're gonna do is, cause I don't, there's some configuration and stuff to set up to make it deploy or build and put the compiled files into the dist directory. But what we're gonna do is just have a build command for now, just to show you the build. So build, and then the command will be tsc, and then source. And that should be our build command. And what will happen when we run this, hopefully, if I recalled this package properly, is we will get likely an app.js file within the source folder, which is not entirely what we want, but let's just make sure it actually builds. Right, so TypeScript. Wait, where did I install? I'm confused. Cool, I think I overwrote it. There we go. One error. Let's see. Could not resolve the past source. Okay, so yeah, that's my fault. So I think it thinks source is a file instead of a directory. Nope, it doesn't. Okay. Unless I gotta do that, let's see. Root file specified for complicated. Could not resolve the past source. Let me just, alright. Build, tsc help. What we're gonna do here is, run the help command. There's a way of doing this without adding these commands to your package.json, but, you likely, I think, would have to, install it globally, which don't necessarily want to do right now if I don't have to. Okay, lib, source matto, pretty. Okay, tsc. Oh, okay, cool. We can do tsc init. Awesome. That'll. Whoops. Okay, we will install it globally. I spelled TypeScript wrong. tsc init. Okay, what was the command now? What is this? Oh, dash init. Cool. Create a new TS config. Cool. Now let's go to here. There's a lot of stuff here. Let's see. User output, out file. Okay, we'll set the output directory to dist. Got it. Okay. Alright, let's try it again. Okay, now let's read the instructions again. I'm doing what I said is a bad thing to do, which is just trial and error. Version project build, pretty, source map target, module, lib, subspace, allow.js, check.js, out file, out there now. Alright, I think we don't even need to give the path. Let's see. cool. Let's see if it actually did anything. Let's see, app. Oh, sick. It all worked. All right, cool. So we got our source app.ts and we got our dist app.js. We have our node modules, which is where all your dependencies are installed. And it looks like that's not good. It I think, did it compile it? What is that? Why is it package.lock in node modules? All right. Well, something's probably not right, but you know, whatever. Let's get back to getting this running, hopefully. Let's see. So we got app now. So okay. So now we change at the dist because we compiled, and it's also JS. So now we can run again. npm run. What was it? App. Cool. We got hello world going. Let's see. Where are we at with the agenda? That keeps getting longer and longer. We set up Typescript. Ran compiled type JS, and then 14. What are we gonna do? We're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna write a little more than hello world, and we're gonna show you a little bit about TypeScript, object-oriented programming, and we will wrap up after that because it's been a while. Cool. So, what are we gonna do for hello world? Let's make a world. So we'll make the world. The world will be it'll be abstract at first. So we'll export an interface of iWorld. The world's pretty huge. So what's it got? Let's just keep it to a few items. So we'll have the sky, and then the sky will be its own object because skies have a lot of properties. We'll do what else? We'll do distance from sun. And then this will be a measurement. Let's do measurement. Alright, we're just gonna start here real quick. We're gonna pull these out into their own files at some point, but for now, let's just do an interface of iSky. And the sky, let's just say that, let's just give it a color and change its color sometimes. And then this will be, we'll do like an enum of color. And this color will only have blue in it for now. Okay, so we got that. Sky has a color. And then we have a distance from sun. And so I don't know what that distance is. So we're going to make it, you know, figural in a way that it can be adapted to any measurement. And a measurement is going to have a value and a unit. So value will be, let's say it's a number. I guess you can measure things in anything you want to, but numbers seem to make sense here. And then unit, we'll do a unit. We'll create units, and this will be another enum. And we'll just do we'll measure in miles for now. Oops, and it's non-interface, it's an enum. Okay, cool. We got a pretty cool thing going here. I think I spelled measurement wrong somewhere. Right here, probably. There we go. Alright, cool. We got some cool stuff. We got a world, we got a sky, we have colors, we have measurements, and we have units. And then, you know what? We could just use these interfaces directly in TypeScript. But typically what you do is you take these abstractions and make implementations out of them that actually do something. So we'll do that. We'll create a class, and it'll be the wanna watch me code world. And this world will be just like any other world. And therefore, we will make sure that we offer the same functionality any other world would offer. Cool. Now we're gonna automatically implement this interface. As you can see here, it just basically copied the same requirements from the interface directly to the class, which is nice because then you don't have to write it. And two, if you want to create a new world, you can auto-generate a lot of the code automatically using this IDE, which is why I installed it, because I could edit this file any way I want. I could have used Notepad++, but you know, you just saw the powers and wonders of a nice IDE. Okay, so then, okay, so we got some like properties here, you know, just values, but like, what does the world really do, you know? What does it do, you know? Let's do, you know, let's make the world spin. But let's not do it just for the world. Let's make it so that anything can spin. And let's make it abstract. And then we'll go, alright. And then we don't necessarily, so what is it gonna do? It's gonna allow people to spin. And what are the properties gonna be though? Like how are we gonna get this thing to spin? And what will it do? Yeah, let's just make it a void method. It'll make something spin. But like, what do we need to do to tell it to spin? For that, let's just make this abstract, right? So that we can extend it to any type of spinning we want. So we'll do properties, and we'll do arguments. This can actually get sloppy, so I don't know if it's a good idea, but just, whatever. We'll show you how generics work. Okay. Alright, so we got a world. We want the world to spin. And we will do, let's do and then yeah, so we know with the world we know what we want to do, right? We want to make it spin, and we want to do it by telling it what speed to run at. So let's go here, we'll do I world spin properties. Okay, so we got that. That'll be an interface. And what this will do, we'll just tell it the speed we want it to run at, and we'll make that a number. It could be a vector, you know, we can make it complex, like, you know, vector directions, nor three-dimensional values for the speed, but we're just going to give one speed to keep it simple, and it's getting late in the day, so we want to be done. And as you can see, this is complaining because why? Because it's generic. It needs some arguments. Let's give it that. Let's give it what it needs. I world spin property. So we're good now. That's no longer red. But why is this one red? Same reason it was red before. We got to implement the method. Puts it right at the top. It doesn't do a great job at ordering things, so I'm just going to copy and paste it below. Cool. Now, okay. So, what is it actually going to do? I don't know. Let's just leave it on implemented for now until we implement it. Okay, so now what? How do, like, we got these properties here, right? But like they're not ever set. So what we're gonna do is create a constructor, and that constructor is gonna have input properties, and those input properties are gonna be used to initialize this world. Okay, so what properties do we actually need, right? So we want to actually define those properties. What is it? I wanna watch me code world props. Kind of funny because it's I wanna watch. Yeah, it sounds like a sentence. Okay, so let's say you know what you know what? We'll leave the props, but we're gonna leave them empty because I think we're just gonna define these things as a constant here. So we'll still pass it in just in case we want to extend it in the future. That way, basically, we can extend it with optional properties, and anybody using it existing wouldn't have to adapt it to the new properties that are passed in. But if we had this be a void constructor, then we'd have no way of passing anything in ever. So it's always safe to kind of start with a properties object, even if it's going to be empty, so that you do have the extensibility in the future. Another benefit of doing the props versus passing in, say, the fields directly, like sky, distance from sun, is that if you want to extend this, you now need to add to the end. But what if at some point you want to add an optional property? Then it gets really messy because optional properties have to come at the end. So if you add one optional property and you want to add another optional property, that's fine. But if you want to add one optional property and a required property, you need that required property to come before the optional property in the constructor, which then changes which variable maps to what in the ordering. So like it can be messy and you can avoid it. So anyway, trying to finish this within 5 minutes. So let's just go and say this set sky for wanna watch me code world is always it's not orange. I want it to be orange. It's not orange out right now. Let's do a little. There's a little bit of orange. Let's do like orange. Or wait, we have the what colors do we have? All right, we only support blue, but we'll do orange. Cool. All right. We know that blue skies exist in some worlds, but in ours it's going to be orange. So we'll go here. So the color, right? We'll do color dot orange. What else does the sky have? That's it. Sky just has color. And then we'll do this dot distance from sun equals let's say we're like super close to the sun, like 30 miles. It's like a really tiny planet. So yeah, 30 miles from the sun. Unit dot miles. Okay, so we got that. So distance from, okay, cool. So we got this. Got it. Okay. Now, what we'll do is, you know what? We're not gonna do spin for now. We'll leave that. We'll leave that unimplemented. It's not a good idea. Someone's gonna use it. It's gonna throw an exception every time. But you know what? I don't feel like doing it right now. We're just gonna make the world be able to talk to you. And you know, we're not gonna make it too complex. We're just gonna add that method directly in the world. And we're gonna make it talk back. And then this will be just a void method, right? let's see. I forget how you define these. I think it's just like, yeah. All right. Talk back. Okay. Okay. And then we'll go here, we see it's red, we'll auto-generate because we have this fancy ID. We'll go in here, we'll make it talk back, and typically you don't want to use console.log in a JavaScript or in a Node.js application. You want to use a logging library for a bunch of reasons I'll get into. I'll also show you how they can be dangerous and how to exploit them at a later time. But yeah, so let's go. So we're going to talk back, and what's it going to do? It's going to say hello. Hello watcher. So we'll say hello watcher, and then we'll say, you know what? We need a name. We need a name for our world. So we'll give it a name because I want him to tell me his name. And then we gotta get, we don't have that property. We're just gonna auto generate it with our cool tool. We'll go here. We'll go to, let's see, console.log. My name is, and we'll do this cool thing that Node.js supports, which is formatting with variables in line. It's great. So this dot name, I am, and then we'll go, distance from sun. So, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We got our, okay, measurement. Okay. So we're gonna give a print method here. Oh, you know what? I just need to do like, okay, that's why, yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have a print method. We're gonna actually implement a measurement. Class measurement. Implement measurement. And we're gonna actually have to implement it. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna be like, console.log. And this will be value, this value. Cool, so then we got that. Probably should have done that from the beginning. Equals new, oops. Distance from sun, new measurement. Oh, okay, and then we're gonna do, okay, and then, let's see. Export interface, measurement props. Then it's gonna have value, number, unit, and then we're gonna go in here. We're gonna do constructor. We're gonna pass in the measurement props. We're going to go this dot value equals props dot value. This dot unit equals props dot unit. I wish there was a faster way of doing that. There's a way to do deconstruction of properties, but I don't know if it's possible to do it on the instance or the properties of a class. Okay, so new measurement, got that. Sky. Cool. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna do toString here. I think that's a better method, Then we're gonna go here, toString, and then we're gonna return. Gonna go down here. IM, and we're gonna do, why are these highlighted here? Let's see. Oh, that's why, because this is not right here. Cool. So, hello watcher, my name is, and I am this dot distance from sun dot toString from the sun and am my sky is this dot sky dot color. And we're gonna go and we're just gonna we're not gonna do 2 lines. We'll just do that. Is that everything we need? So we got the name, we got the distance from the sun, and we got the color of the sky. And we'll change this. Honestly, like, what I would like to do is probably do something similar with the sky and create an implementation that has a toString method. But honestly, this is kind of like a useless application anyway, so just gonna keep it as is for now, because it's been a while doing this. So there we go. All right, we got all this. Now let's break it out a little bit. Let's do it. Let's break out the sky out. Let's break out the color. Whoops. Sky color. We'll do measurement. Typically, this is when your file has too many responsibilities, it's not a good thing usually, typically for scalability purposes. So yeah, so what I like to do is typically have one file per class, or maybe even one file per interface and class for the base classes and things like that. But to separate each specific implementation into their own file, it makes it easier for tracking, finding what you need just by looking at the directory structure. It can be really tough sometimes when you couple different responsibilities into one large file to be able to debug and figure out what you're doing. So right now we're gonna basically break everything out, put everything into their own classes. That way we can have everything easy to find and ready to go. So we're gonna put the color in the color class. We're gonna go back and we're gonna get the measurement. So we got 3 of these. We got the measurement interface, props, and implementation. Let's go there, paste that in. And as you can see, we got a lot of red on our page. That's because we don't have those changes in our file and we aren't importing them yet. Okay, so we're good. We got the wanna watch me code world props. We got world spin properties. Let's go. And what else we got? We got iSpinnable. We need to bring out unit. I feel like unit can go in measurement, but honestly, whatever. I'm just gonna create a new file. It's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal if I put it in measurement though, because it's like, where are the units? Like, are they in the sky? Are they in the measurements? Are they in color? Are they in the world? But they are in the units file, so we're good. All right, let's go here. All right, so we got basically our world. We're just gonna delete spin for now. That was a dumb idea. Let's just remove that so that we don't have to create a new file and figure out what to name it. Alright, let's go. So again, IDs are great. Ready? Watch this. Hopefully it works. Nice. Import. Add all missing imports. There we go. Everything is great. We don't have spinnable anymore, so we're gonna delete that. Here we go. Alright. Unit's good, sky's not good. We gotta get that color in there. Measurement. Alright, let's go. Unit, not there. Let's add all missing imports, and we're good. We're really good here. Nice. Alright, so we got, let's get rid of the iWorld spin prop. Screw that, dude. That was a dumb idea. Alright, cool. What do we got here? Looks like we got our world. It's talking to us maybe. Um, and yeah, cool. So we got this. Didn't run it yet. Have no tests. Have no integrations. Haven't used it yet. So, yeah, let's use it. Let's have the world talk back to us. Um, but some caveats. This talkback method is going to be really hard to test. So we'll get to that in later episodes. Um, yeah, but we got some code written. We don't even know if it works yet though. So let's go. All right, what are we gonna do? We're gonna what are we gonna do? We're gonna say no. We'll leave that. So we'll say hello world. We'll leave that as the first line. And then, you know what? The world is tired, so he needs to initialize himself. He didn't even exist until we asked about him. So we're going to create him, and we're going to talk to him and have him talk back. So, in our world, so let's do, what is this? Wanna watch me code world? And this will be a world. Is that what I need? Yeah, I world. Okay, and we'll do this, and then we'll go like new wanna watch me code world. And it takes in empty props. And so, yeah, let me just like get this working. Alright. So, yeah, the ID is not always the best, but we're gonna do it ourselves here. Model, so model slash world. And then we're gonna do there we go, it picks it up. It just for some reason like needs to learn a little bit, you know? I don't know why, but it's the way it is, so we're gonna do that here. Alright, so we got I world, we're gonna update the import because now it knows about it for some reason. Not sure why, but it does. Alright, and we're gonna go here, see what's going on. Why is talkback not working? What's going off name? Name, we didn't even set it. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go and we're gonna do, it's gonna be read only. And we're gonna just set it in line because we want a read only constant property that never changes. So we want to watch me code world. Yeah, so yeah, read only is nice because one, it prevents you from setting this variable after the first time you set it, so it's a constant. But it's also yeah, it's basically a constant that can't change and you can't set it. But yeah, and I'll have to go into the details of read only at some point, but let's get back to coding so we're not distracted. We got our props for some reason. They are coming in as, oh, no arguments. Oh, okay, I took away, forgot to add that back, man. I want to watch me code props. Yeah, okay. So the nice thing here is like, alright, so right now we're like, alright, we don't need props, right? So we're like, okay, cool, no props needed. Then what if I'm like, you know, what if I want to be able to override this sun, you know, or override how far it is? So then we're like, alright, let's just add distance, and there'll be a number. But now, look, it's broken. We can't do that. And also, we want it to be optional now. So like, yeah, okay, that works. But then what if I'm like, you know, what if I want to add like a let's just say color again, and just make it a string for now, just cause we want to. Actually no, I just make it a color because we made the color. But so as you can see, since the first one is optional, the second one can't be mandatory, which makes sense because we don't want to extend it anyway for to break other use cases. But now we can make it optional. Cool. But like, what about if we want like to set just color, right? So we'll do like one, and then we'll do like, right? Because we'll just be like, oh, let's do color. And then what? It's mapping to a number of distance. Like, what do we do? Then do you do like undefined, and then, you know, color dot orange or orange, whatever. So I guess you could do that, but like, why? When you could just go like this, roll back to what we had. Whoops. And we'll do props. I wanna watch me code world props. And what we got is, yes, we have to pass in an object every time, but now I can be like, alright, I wanna pass in the distance from sun. And that'll be a number, right? Well, it'll be a measurement, but whatever. But you see, like, oh crap, it's breaking existing changes. Let's make this optional. Okay, cool, it's working existing. Oh, I can set distance from sun directly. There we go. So yeah, so that's the benefit of using props versus actual arguments, or inline arguments. But yeah, just a little hint there. Talk back, what about this? Why is that red? I'm confused. Oh, okay, so this is a TypeScript thing. We're gonna make that void. That's the nice thing about TypeScript is it checks types and it can do it at compile time, so it complains. But the same thing is JavaScript, anything can be anything and nothing is typed. So you can override and say any, and you can return anything. You can return nothing. You can return an object, number, whatever. But if you don't have that, it's called implicitly any, which means that you're not defining it, and they, put this red line so that you explicitly define what you want. And you can't explicitly define any, and it supports that. It might give you a warning, but generally, if you don't have to use any, you shouldn't. There are obviously some dynamic use cases where any fits in, and I've done it before, but the benefit of TypeScript is the type checking, and we're going to go from that. Okay, cool. So now we said hello to the world. Our world is created, and now our world is going to talk back to us. So let's go. All right, so wanna watch me code world talks back. And there we go. Got our code. Cool. And measurement seems to be red, so let's see what's going on there. You gotta do string, make that cool. Alright, now let's try and run it. I'm like super curious if this is gonna work. I'm pretty confident it will, but you never know really. Let's see. Let's just make sure everything's set up. So Nodejs app.js, we got build, we got that. Very good. Alright, let's build and run. Oh, dude. Of course, no color. What is it? A color. Where is this? Sky. That's a bummer, dude. I really wanted to. Wait, what? Why is it not exported? Cannot find name color. Source model sky. So weird. Let's go to app. Yeah, that's a bummer. I thought it was gonna work. First time, didn't. Cannot find name color. Sky. In sky, can't find color. I don't understand. Is this? Oh, it's not saved. All right, guys. It might work. It might work the first time. I just didn't save the file. Oh wow. Let's go. Nice. All right. Cool. So we said hello to the world, and then the world said hello, watcher, back to us, and told us its name. It told us how far away from the sun it is, and it told us that my color of my sky is orange. Terrible English, but it is another world that was just created today. And it's surprising it even speaks English. I have no idea how that happened, but it happened. And you know what? I think that's about it for today. So we're gonna say goodbye. Let's do that in code. Let's go episode 1. And we'll compile. And we'll run. Cool. And that's it. Thanks for watching, if anybody actually watched this. It's a long video. It took a while to get to the code, but you know what? We did it. We did it. We got to the code. We wrote it. It works. It worked first time. Almost. If I just saved the file, but cool. All right. Peace out, everybody. See you in, I don't know, maybe a week. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen. Where is the thing to stop this? All right. See ya.